So we are once again joined by Matt, who was one of our guests first day, I think.
First day on Friday, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I have not put up that interview yet.
So you guys are getting the preview to the prequel, I guess. Is that how that works?
Sure.
It was a miscellaneous, misspelled, mislabeled file on the computer, and I was like, "What is this file?" Started looking at it this morning. I was like, "Oh, I should put that up yesterday."
Sounds good. Sounds good.
But I can put it up now. I have since relabeled it. And it would be good. I can upload this.
Outstanding. We'll take it, guys.
All right, so Matt, let's talk about who has joined us from your team.
Well, we have, as he is affectionately known on the team, we have the boy, my son, Jacob Ludwick. He is rocking some Drukari. Or no, you're not rocking Drukari for once. You're going Thousand Suns. So it's been a change for you coming over to Chaos side.
It's been a while since I've run my Drukari. It's been almost a year now.
Yeah, you've been kind of traveling along on this path of chaos, making your dad proud. Tear. So, guys, I'm a podcaster too, so I'm going to step all over you guys.
Please do.
No, that's fine.
Normally it's Pat doing that, but he's not here now, so please feel free.
So Jake, why don't you tell them a little bit about what you're running and your experience up here in Canada? Because you're hitting a lot of firsts on this trip, man. First time out of the country, and I'll let you go from there.
Yeah, so with my list, I'm running a battalion of Thousand Suns with a unit of rubrics, 5-man, unit of 30 Zangors, a unit of 25 for the troop selections, and then I run Armon on disc and Demon Prince with wings as the warlord.
And how are you enjoying playing Chaos?
Oh, I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I love the psychic aspect of the game, so that's why I picked the Thousand Suns other than just their look, because I fell in love with the Egyptian look. But, yeah. And then I have a super heavy auxiliary with Magnus, and then a super heavy detachment with triple armored Helverins.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pretty strong list. How are you doing in the championship?
Not as well as I'd like, but still having a great time. Since I've been up here, there hasn't been one opponent where I haven't smiled throughout the whole game.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, everybody I've met's been completely nice.
And are people taking it easy on you because you're a youngster?
No,
Good.
they're laying it down. That's how I want it to happen.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I'm 1-3 though, so
that's not bad.
Yeah,
we'll take it. Realistically, it's more about the fact that we've got 2 days worth of poutine sitting in our bellies, and we're willing to, at this point, I'm willing to move up just to be closer to Smokes. That's been pretty dang fantastic.
Yeah, it's an interesting establishment.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you like barbecue, that's definitely the place to go.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about Matt. How have you been doing in the tournament so far?
Let's not talk about how I've been doing in the tournament so far. Yeah, no, I've had some really great games. Same type scenario as Jake. Fantastic opponents, and it's nice to come north of the border and get into a player pool that we really don't get into.
Sure.
And I had a round in the second game where first round he got off 6 10-inch charges against me. Normally I'd be really, really happy if it wasn't all into one Plague Bearer unit that just happened to make it go away. And so that had a little bit of the feel bads going, but we rebounded, had a good time. I ended up winning my last game of the day, and then I'm back to my losing ways. So we're seeing a family trend of 1-3 here.
Gotcha. So. Oh crap! There was something else I was going to ask you, and I completely blanked on it. Paul, go ahead.
What? Don't do this to me.
So, Jake, let's talk a little bit more about let's talk a little bit more about some of the firsts that you've had while you were up here. First, again, I kind of set you up there. First poutine. Yeah. That's the highlight of the trip so far.
Yeah, poutine's amazing. But another first is I had my first legal drink with my dad Friday.
Nice.
Which was awesome.
Yeah. Right, because the age of consumption here in Ontario is only 19, not 21 like in most states, I believe.
Yep. Yeah. Most of the states. So we were able to kind of break that down and have that rolling for us. That was a big highlight for me as well.
Now,
That's
since we don't have any law enforcement watching or listening, is this the first time you've had an alcohol beverage at all?
No, I've had a couple mics before.
Okay.
going hardcore.
Listen, I started on Barbarian coolers, so Mike's is a step up.
Myself, I was a Zima man back in the day.
Oh, good Lord.
So I have no room to talk, but of course, as a father, you have to give your kid crap.
Of course.
It's a moral imperative, really. So, guys, I want to talk to you. Actually, let me flip the chairs around. So, out of the people, you guys have had the chance to bring in people like Jim Vessel.
Yes.
You've gotten some fantastic different points of view on the game. How do you feel the different cast of characters have been going for you here?
It seems like everyone's having a really good time, and most people have voiced the same sorts of compliments, and we haven't really heard any negative talk about either the players who they've played against, or just the venue or the events that are taking place. So everyone seems to have a pretty positive outlook on the convention as a whole. We've heard there have been a couple of minor hiccups here and there.
Absolutely,
but for the most part, it's actually been a very successful convention so far from everyone that we've talked to.
Yeah, I've been getting the same vibe out on the floor. Everybody seems to be happy, and I got to introduce a couple of my friends on the way up to what curling actually is. So, it's the only Olympic sport that you can have a beer on the floor while you're playing the sport.
That's
so
true.
You got to go with that. That's not a bad day at all.
And it's actually super fun to play.
I've never played, but I totally would be down with that. My best friend played curling in high school.
Okay.
So I'd be down to hurl a few stones, man. It'd be great. But another really cool thing here is they've got the tartans, the different tartans. And actually, I'm mostly Germanic, but on my grandfather's side, my great-grandmother is Scottish.
Okay.
And the Monroe tartan is up there. And I was like, oh, my gosh. I wish.
Take a picture?
I did.
Nice.
I did. I sent it back to my aunt who's showing my grandpa. So he's 96. He will love to see a little bit of the old country coming back.
That's great.
So,
That is great. Yeah.
So it's been a fantastic time, a great tournament. I know you guys get to head around a lot in the Canadian scene. Have you guys ever made it down to the States to play in any of our tournaments?
Well, I take a trip down to Chicago every year for Adepticon.
Nice, very nice.
That's been my go-to for the last 8 years. And one time I did make it all the way down to Arizona to take part in a tournament that was being run by the Battlefoam guys.
Okay.
When they were doing their own convention.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that only lasted maybe 2 or 3 years. I don't know if they're still continuing it. I only went the one time, and I think it was their first year.
Okay.
And so again, it started kind of like this. We had 24 people in the 40K championships. There was like 8 people playing Fantasy Battles back then before Age of Sigmar came out. I think there were maybe 2 or 3 people that signed up to do. Oh, now I'm forgetting what it's called. It used to be run by Spartan Games. Their naval combat. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can see the miniatures. They actually had fantastic miniatures.
Oh yeah.
For that game, naval combat. As far as miniature gaming go, naval combat has always been one that's kind of intrigued me to get into. But unfortunately, not unfortunately, but I also like to stay married. Mm-hmm. So playing like
multiple
2 miniature
games
is really all that my marriage is going to be able to handle at one time.
Yeah, I totally understand. And just keeping like various different rules separated in your mind, that becomes a bit of a chore when you're talking about 3, 4, 5 different game systems that you're running.
Absolutely, yeah, it's crazy. I always that still happens. I get edition bleed all the time.
Right.
And something will come up, and I'll be like, "Oh, wait, no, that was 2 editions ago. I can't do that anymore."
And the quick change between start 5th was in place for a very long time, and all of a sudden it went 6th, and then immediately almost 7, and then a year and a half later 8th came out. So we're talking over the span of maybe 3 or 4 years. There was a large number of changes to the rules and just the way the game plays, and so that I think turned some people off the game. Like, I mean, I played a fair bit of 40K when it was still 5th. I played, I think, 1 game in 6th, 1 game in 7th, and 1 game in 8th so far.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I can say 5th is when I started as well, about mid-5th. So I had to live through Space Wolves. I had to live through Grey Knights.
Right.
And then 6th with Necrons. And, it was a little rough going through 6, especially on the competitive side. I would say that 8th by far has made tournaments so much less antagonistic,
Right.
because there's so few rules interactions that have to do with, oh, well, you're half an inch outside of something, or
Right.
this template, if I hold it at this angle, is going to hit your guy.
Right.
And so it seems to take a lot of the gamesmanship out of the game.
Right.
It's fantastic. So I have to say then, guys, if you haven't come down and play in the States, I'm going to call you out and say, come on down to Cleveland.
Okay.
We're having the Cleveland Chainsword Championship. It's our 2nd year. We're going to be running a major.
Okay.
And something that we're doing that is unlike any other tournament that I've ever been to. Included in your price, we've got drinks for the entire, non-alcoholic, of course, drinks for the entire tournament. You get your coffee and soda.
Nice.
Not only free, but brought to you at the table while
amazing.
you're playing.
Look at that service.
Concierge service.
We have two rounds of finger foods. We're looking at ribs, wings, sliders, so on and so forth, catered to us every day.
Awesome.
All included. And we're looking at a 2-day 6-rounder coming up in July for us on the other side of your southern border. It's that 4th of July weekend.
Okay.
So we would love to see you come on down, man, if you could swing it in the travel schedule.
I'll have to look at what else is going around, kind of around that time frame, but it's definitely a possibility. I don't know if I'll actually take part in the game, because I mean, I don't play competitively at all. And like I said, I've played only 1 game of 8th edition so far with my Black Templar. A fair bit of kill team, but actual like a full army thing, only 1 time. So I won't be there for that, but possibly coming down and like taking pictures, doing a podcast from down there, that might work.
I'll tell you what, if you come down and if nothing else, we will make sure to get we'll get a battle report in with you.
Okay,
so
sure.
that we can co-host Chainsword Diaries out of the basement, and we'll do it upright, man.
Sounds awesome. Yeah, so we'll make sure we get all the information for it. We'll put it up on our Facebook page. We'll put a link to your event and make sure that the word gets out.
Well, absolutely. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for joining us once again.
No
Matt
problem.
and Jacob. So, Jacob, one last question before you go. Would you come back?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've had a blast here.
Excellent.
It's
Good.
been great.
So we'll see you again next year?
That and he can drink.
Hopefully.
So
Have that.
It's a big selling point, not going to lie.
It's not bad,
for
yeah.
these 2 years, yeah.
I made many a trip to Windsor back in the day when,
Right.
you know, I lived in Toledo. It's like, hey, it's only like 2.5 hours, and then we don't have to go approach the unseemly guy to buy us things.
Right.
So yeah, that's your selling point. Come on, Canada, come on up and drink.
All right, so that's Matt and Jacob from the Chainsword Diaries joining us once again. Thank you, guys, and we hope you have an amazing rest of your con.
Thank you so much. You guys have a
you.
great time too.
See you later.